Good evening, everybody. We have to continue with our sessions on Organon, and in last lecture we have discussed about the chronic case taking, one more aspect of aphorism number 93, where Dr. Samuel Hahnemann tried to explain the importance of certain private questions are necessary to ask to the patient in order to understand that individual properly. Many times we miss certain things from the patient's history. And it happens only because patient is ashamed, patient feels it is little bit awkward to explain all those things in front of the other members. And that's why he hides those things. And because of which we cannot get exact nature of the person. Dr. Samuel Hahnemann had considered this aspect also. He said that if you feel that there are certain things which are kept hidden by the patient, it is your duty to ask the patient to sit in front of you, ask the other relatives to send out and tell them, I want to ask certain few questions to this patient privately, and you go on asking all those things which you need. And that fulfills, in fact, your detailed case taking. So questions related with his habits, questions related with the sexual aspect, questions related with the nature of the person, questions related with his position, questions related with his financial position, questions related with the deformities in the private parts. All those questions, many examples he has given in that footnote. And those are the questions which gives you more detail in understanding about that human being. And that's why it is too much important to go for it. So that's all we have discussed in last lecture. Let us start with the new aphorism number 94. So let us see what he wants to explain over there. Aphorism 94. While inquiring into the state of chronic diseases, the particular circumstances of the patient with regard to his ordinary occupations, his usual mode of living and diet, his domestic situation, and so forth, must be well considered and scrutinized to ascertain what there is in them that may tend to produce or to maintain disease, in order that by their removal, the recovery may be promoted. So see what he wants to explain over there. He wants to explain whether if you are dealing with the patient, whether there are any obstacles, whether there are any maintaining causes. So what he says, while inquiring into the state of chronic diseases, so when you are dealing with the chronic diseases, the particular circumstances of the patients with regard to his ordinary occupation. So sometimes it happens that patient who is doing continuously sedentary work, who is generally a worker who used to work continuously in front of desktop. The bankers generally they sit whole day and they suffer because of acid peptic troubles very commonly, the indigestion troubles very commonly. Many a times they suffer from the flatulence, all those things which happens to be there, which are the effects of their occupation. So you find it out what is their problem. Sometimes patients who used to work in mines suffers from the asthmatic trouble. Those who used to remain stand for longer time of duration suffers from the varicosity. So you have to understand what their problem is. His usual mode of living and diet, that is another point which you have to look for. Many times the mode of living itself creates a problem for the patient. I will share one example. There was one patient who was brought to me. In fact, he was not brought to me. He himself came to me for the chest pain. And when I took his history, there was 3 times the bypass surgery was done. And he again, after bypass surgery, after 1 year or 2 years after that, he started getting the chest pain. And they have asked again to go for angiography and let us see what is the problem. And now he had suffered a lot. He never wants to go for that. And that's why he chose the homeopathy. So when I was taking his history, I asked, at what time you wake up? He said, at 1 o'clock. I was astonished. At 1 o'clock, I felt that at 1 o'clock he gets his sleep disturbed. So I asked, at 1 o'clock at night? He said, no, doctor, at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Something new, something unusual. Then I asked him, at what time do you go to sleep? He said, after 2 o'clock at night. Then I asked, what is your routine? And he said, after waking up in the morning at around 1 o'clock, I used to take breakfast at 2 o'clock. And then at 5:30, I used to take a lunch. And my dinner happens to be there at 12 o'clock at midnight. See, if this routine is there, the person who is going against the nature in his daily routine, how can he will be recovered from such types of disorder? I said it is not possible to cure unless and until you change this. This is what is creating the problem. This is what is creating the myocardial infarction or the obstruction of your lumen, coronary lumens, because you are not maintaining what is there in the state of health. And if you want to develop, if you want to come out of it, then you have to change your routine. He said, how can it be? I'm running my hotel. I said, if you are running your hotel, but if you are, at what cost you are running your hotel? 3 times you have done your bypass. How much does it cost? Can you calculate? It is too important to understand what's your problem and how to go ahead. After a lot of conviction, I have tried my level best to convince him. Then he agreed, yes, I will try to change. And really, he had changed his life. I asked him to wake up at 6 o'clock, at least for 3 days consecutively, so that you can get early sleep at night. He started waking up not at 6 o'clock, but at least 8 o'clock in the morning. Then he gradually changed his daily routine. And after that, he recovered from his problem because the daily routine was at wrong. These are the things. And what one more thing which was present in him, he used to take the hotel diet only as a lunch, as for lunch or dinner, because he never used to stay at home at time. That was his problem. That used to be more spicy, oily, all those things, and he used to like those. See, these are the things which you have to look for. And that's why diet and daily routine, it is very much necessary to ask for. Second important thing is related with the diet. In fact, it is the most important thing which you have to ask for. Generally, this is the basic thing which creates the disorders in many people. Faulty diet always creates a disorder. The peoples are having many disorders only because of their wrong faulty diet, wrong thing which they used to ingest or take. We used to imitate the foreigners or European countries. This is the nature of Indian human being. They used to imitate the foreigners, the Westerns. In fact, the bed tea, first important thing, which is needed over there in European countries where there is too much cold temperature is there. Too much cold. In fact, icy cold. They used to remain in minus temperature, and to shake their body early in the morning. When they wakes up, they require that bed tea to get some energy to feel heat inside. We have wrongly followed the Westerns. We used to stay in the country where, which is hot country. It is a hot continental, and where there is no need of such a thing. Still, we followed bed tea because we used to follow others. We used to make imitation of that, and because of which we suffer from acid peptic trouble. Many people of the modern age, they suffer from the acid peptic trouble because early in the morning, without already the acid is there, and they used to consume the tea, the tannic acid, and they suffer from the grave disorders of acid peptic trouble in their future. It starts right from the bed tea. Second important thing, the persons who used to do a very hard work generally have a 3 times diet, requires a 3 times diet. So those who are the farmers who really used to work in the farm and do a hard work, they require 3 times diet. And that's why the breakfast was necessary for them, then the lunch is necessary, and again the dinner is necessary. And through all these three, breakfast and lunch and dinner, they used to take the same thing. They used to consume the same diet, that is the vegetable and the roti, that's all. Nothing more than that. But the things are changed. Now things are changed, and we require for breakfast the products which are harmful for our body. We require all those products which are looks tasty to the tongue but affects the human life. Someone requires the pohe, then there is upma and all those different preparations, the masala dosa, uttappa, all those things, and those things are their daily breakfast elements. These elements, which are special to special location, used to maintain the health. But the things which are not special to that locality, if you consume them regularly, it used to disturb you. And many a times a disorder is the result of it. Many people suffers nowadays from the uric acid problem, the gouty problem, gouty rheumatic. And what is wrong with them? The problem lies in two important things. They used to consume all those things where 3 types of dals creates the problem. I don't know exact English names, what it is called as, but the first one, that is the harbara dal, second is udid dal, and third one, that is the tur dal. These are 3 important dals which creates the problem. This is the protein which is very hard to digest, and people used to consume them in their diet in much more quantity in fact, and that's why they suffer so lot. Only safest dal for the digestion is the moong dal. Rest of this creates a problem because all the preparations are made from these. For example, all those products, the names which I have taken, the potato vada, dahi vada, then all that is the udid vada, all those things where these dals are used. Then many people's like bhel, many people's like those masala dosa, then uttappa and whatnot, all those things where there is a problem because it increases the uric acid level. Second important thing, we have made one more bad habit, sleeping late at the night. If you don't follow the nature's clock, the biological clock, that is sleeping between the 11 to 4 at night, you definitely suffer from this uric acid problem. So the diet is very important, the daily routine is very important, dietary items are very important, and these are necessary to be asked for. So he explains over there that these are the things where you have to concentrate. Many people consume a maximum tea in their daily routine, and that they suffer from the severe acid peptic troubles again and again. There are many people who used to have a habit of taking food every 2-3 hourly, and generally they suffer from diabetes, or sometimes more if their diet contains more carbohydrates, it is converted into lipids and producing the hypertension also. So asking details regarding the diet is very important so that you can advise how to go ahead. Specifically, how they take the diet, the daily routine is very essential to ask for, because that is the one more homeopathic management we have to add as an auxiliary measure in their treatment. Diet, his domestic situation. Domestic situation means what is his position at the domestic level. Because many times, if he is the youngest children, sometimes he may be having a lot of burden of everyone inside from the house. There might be a domination. If he is the elder of the family, then he has more responsibility. So accordingly, it varies, and whether the person is able to adapt or not able to adapt, depending on that, the disorder develops. If he is able to adapt the responsibility, he will not going to suffer from anything. But if he is not able to adapt that responsibility, he suffers. He is always remains in the stress. The same is true if there is a lot of domination from all angles, and if you are able to adapt that domination, then the thing happens. But if you are not able to adapt that domination at the domestic level, you suffer. That's why he says over there, his domestic situation and so forth must be well considered and scrutinized. So these are the points which one must go into the detail. So in my case paper, I have prepared it in such a manner that all those things automatically you go on writing it down. You ask the daily routine. I always used to ask the daily routine of the person, right from at what time he wakes and at what time he sleeps. The all in between evidences or all in between things I used to write over there. The second important thing, I used to ask more details regarding his diet, because that also gives you lot of things, and many times the cause in the form of a maintaining cause or causa occasionalis remains hidden over there. So these are the points where one must go through and understand. What he says must be well considered and scrutinized to ascertain what there is in them that may tend to produce or maintain the disease. So these are the things which sometimes maintain the disease. A patient of long-standing cough and who used to consume the tobacco or who used to smoke generally never gets cured unless and until you remove this habit from him. So this is too important. You have to ask the patient that it is the thing which is creating problem, and unless you stop, don't take the treatment. You should be very hard and confirmed regarding it. Don't consider that patient will run away. If he run away, it doesn't matter, but he never spoils your name. Otherwise, he consumes the smoking, continue with smoking or tobacco, and what happens? Afterwards, he never feels better, and he tells other people that I never got any relief from this doctor. He spoils your name. He never used to going to tell them that I have not stopped the tobacco, I have not stopped the smoking. So these are things which happens. That's why it is too much necessary to go into all those details and ask regarding those things. And last, what he says, in order that by their removal, the recovery may be promoted. So if you remove all those things from their diet, or from their daily routine, recovery is possible. So there is one footnote where he has given many examples, which are the things which can create or increases the problem, and what one should ask for. See, every aphorism, and there he tried to explain the details about it in the footnotes. Wherever he feels that example should be given, he has added it in the footnote, and that is the importance of the footnote. What happens generally, we never used to read the footnotes because it is in small letters, and no one likes small letters to read, but these are very essential and important. So footnote number 87 will read. In the chronic diseases of females, it is especially necessary to pay attention to the pregnancy, sterility, sexual desire, accouchements, miscarriages, suckling, and the state of menstrual discharge. See, which are the things which are specially necessary in case of females? What he says, first important thing you have to ask regarding the pregnancy. So always make a habit, if the young female is there, make a habit, ask their last menstrual period. Make a habit on your case paper, it should be written. Sterility, if they don't have any child, that is also important thing, because that creates a problem on their mind. Regarding sexual desire, but it should be asked at the end of the case taking, when you gain the confidence of the patient, then the regarding sexual desire you can ask. Accouchments means the period during the delivery and after the delivery. प्रसूती आणि बाळंतपणाचा काळ, accouchments. Then regarding the miscarriages, yes, this is also one more important entity one must ask for. Are there any miscarriages happen? If we have, if the lady, she had recurrent abortions, miscarriages at the specific second or third month of pregnancy, you can think of the remedy, and we have ample remedies to prevent that. So miscarriages, suckling means the feeding baby, breastfeeding baby, and the state of the menstrual discharge, and all those things gives you and guides you regarding the patient's complaints, patient's nature, patient's state. So these are important. With respect to the last name, more particularly, we should not neglect to ascertain if it recurs at too short intervals or is delayed beyond the proper time, how many days it lasts, whether its flow is continuous or interrupted, what is its general quantity, how dark is its color, whether there is a leukorrhea before its appearance or after its termination, but especially by what bodily or mental elements, what sensations and pains it is preceded, accompanied, or followed. If here is leukorrhea, what is its nature, what sensation attained its flow, and in what quantity it is, and what are the conditions and occasions under which it occurs. See, these are the questions which are related with the menstrual history. It is very much necessary in cases of female, and it is not just whether it is regular and how many does it last. This is not, these gives you a superficial idea. This guides you towards certain things. But he explains over there, how is the bleeding? How many days you bleed? And second important thing, how is the quality of the blood? Because everything is explained in our repertory, that the quality of a blood, whether it is dark, whether it is bright red, whether it is profuse, whether it is of normal, whether it is less quantity, we have ample details in our repertory regarding those things, and that gives the personal individuality. There are remedies which are mentioned, that the menstrual discharge remains only 1 day or 1 hour, and we know the remedy. Everyone knows the remedy. Yes, which is the remedy? The remedy is
Euphrasia.
yes, euphrasia. Remedy is euphrasia. So we have ample examples. And if you open the Kent's repertory, female genitalia, and open the menses, and you get the many subrubrics, because we have detailed provings of the remedy, and because of which it is possible to find it out individuality with the help of that. If the menstrual discharge, which is stringy, what you can think of? If the menstrual discharge is stringy, which remedy will think? Stringy tenacious.
Chylomicromicum, lachesis.
No, not at all. I know. I was expecting same answer, but it is not the answer. Chylomicromicum is all discharges are stringy. Lachesis, it is clotted. Any idea? Anyone who knows that the menstrual flow is stringy, the bleeding hemorrhages are stringy. The only remedy in our Mater Medica which is defined very strongly is the crocus. Very good. Crocus sativa. Yes, it is crocus. So these are very important things which you can get over there if you take a detailed history. So whether flow is continuous, whether it is interrupted, whether patient is having metrorrhagia, all those things which are necessary to ask for. At the same time, to conclude that footnote, he explains if there is any leukorrhea, whether it is before menses, whether it is after menses, what is the quality of leukorrhea. Open the Kent's repertory, find it out leukorrhea, and find it out many subrubrics mentioned over there. The color of leukorrhea, the quality of leukorrhea, the odor of leukorrhea, everything is mentioned in detail. And with the help of that, it is very easy to reach to the individuality. Because when once you define the quality of it, it immediately reflects the individuality. And that's why it is necessary to open the other chapters from the repertory. We are very much familiar only with the mentals. Yes, it's not wrong, but many of you are missing the particular. Many a times, particular characteristic gives you directly a remedy. And what happens when you just goes on taking the mental, you never get all the remedies. You will going to run in the same sphere of the remedies again and again. Characteristic symptoms at the particular level always give you a remedy which is more very specific for the patient and guides you in the right direction. And that's why such precise questions are always necessary to be asked in cases. So this aphorism, 94 aphorism, is related with the specifically the particular circumstances, the regarding mode of living, then the diet, the domestic situation, in case of females, the menstrual history, the details regarding the menstrual history, as well as leukorrhea, all those things which you have to ask over there. So we'll conclude the today's session over here. And today we're going to meet at 9 o'clock. I will going to share with you uh, my aspect of looking towards the Mater Medica, how I used to learn the Mater Medica, and how I used to think about the remedy, how I used to use the logic and clinical aspects in day-to-day practice. So it is a very good session for all of you. Very short remedy, small remedy, I will going to share with you. But that how to learn that short remedy in detail, that those things you will never miss in that lecture. So my suggestion, it is an open session to all of you. There is no need to enter into Divine School password, but same password which I used to follow in this session. Same ID and password will be there for 2 days session. And ask your all the friends, colleagues to join for 2 days session. So it will give you and guide you the different perspective of looking towards the Mater Medica and how one can think and go with clinical aspects and pathological aspects in cases. So this is one important session. So Ali, don't miss today's session. Okay. Any question, query?
सर एक प्रश्न विचारू का सर?
बोल.
सर माझ्या 8 वर्षाची मुलगी आहे सर. तर तिला संक्रांतीच्या दिवशी ते भजे वगैरे सगळं खाल्लं, खेळे वगैरे सगळं केलं, संध्याकाळी सगळ्यांच्या घरी जाऊन तिळगुळ पण सगळं खाल्लं. दुसऱ्या दिवशी सकाळी चिल्स विथ फीवर स्टार्ट झाले. चिल्स बिगिनिंग इन द एक्स्ट्रीमिटीज होतं अँड इट वॉज फॉलोड बाय ड्राय हीट, अगदी बर्निंग हीट होती सर. तर मी स्टार्ट केलं सर, नॅट्रोमूरने स्टार्ट केलं सर. तर चिल्स कंट्रोल झाले सर. म्हणजे चिल्स बिगिनिंग इन हँड आणि ते होतं आणि बॉडी एक पण थोडासा होता सर. तर मी नॅट्रोमूरचे 3 डोसेस दिले, पण म्हणजे कमी झालं, पण अप टू द मार्क नाही. आणि पायरेक्झियाचं आपलं ते बायो कॉम्बिनेशन पण चालू केलं सर. तर मला तर हे कन्फ्युजन आहे सर, नायट्रोमूरवर राहू देऊ का ॲकोनाइट पण डोक्यात आहे, असं काय करू सर?
सगळ्यात पहिल्यांदा तिची स्टेट काय आहे हे पाहणं फार गरजेचं आहे. म्हणजे हाऊ इज शी, वेदर शी इज डल, ड्राउझी, शी इज ऍक्टिव्ह.
हो सर, डल म्हणजे जेव्हा फीवर येतो तेव्हा डल होते. नाहीतर जेव्हा फीवर थोडा कंट्रोलमध्ये यायला लागला की ती तिचं ड्रॉइंग करते, चालू असतं तिचं काही ना काही चालू असतं.
अशा
आणि मी मार्क केलं सर की संध्याकाळी जास्त वाढायला लागतं आणि रात्री. तर मग ॲको देऊ का नको, थांबू?
ॲकोनाइटची फेज गेलीये, 4 दिवस होऊन
हो
गेले.
सडन नाही. हो सर, तर
ॲकोनाइटची फेज,
त्याच्यामुळेच नाही दिलं.
ॲकोनाइट पहिल्या दिवशी लागू शकतो इफ देअर इज कोल्ड ड्राय एअर, ड्राफ्ट ऑफ कोल्ड ड्राय एअर मुळे जर सुरुवात झाली असेल आणि ती ॲगोनी मध्ये असली असेल तर इट वुड हॅव वर्क. परंतु ती तशी नाहीये. मग ती स्टेट गेली, त्याच्या पुढची स्टेट काय आहे? मग त्याच्यात थर्स्ट चेक करायची, वेदर शी thirsty or thirstless, whether she asks for water or don't ask for water, whether she used to lie down or whether she is playful. त्याच्यानंतर दुसरी गोष्ट, व्हॉट अबाउट द डाएट, वेदर शी इज कंझ्युमिंग डाएट और नॉट कंझ्युमिंग, युरिन आउटपुट, स्टूल्स, एव्हरीथिंग. ज्याच्यामधनं तुला स्टेट कळली पाहिजे. मग तू ज्या
येस
वेळेला
सर.
नॅट्रमूर वापरते, नॅट्रमूर का, मला हा प्रश्न अजून स्पेसिफिकली पडला, कारण नॅट्रमूर ही रेमेडी अशी अक्यूट म्हणून आपण वापरत नाही. इट इज व्हेरी
हो सर.
डिफिकल्ट रेमेडी की क्रॉनिक मलेरिया आहे विच इज नॉट रिकव्हरिंग. येस, नॅट्रमूर इज डेफिनेटली अ रेमेडी, but in such an acute state, why you go for a remedy which is deep acting? So here you have to think of a remedy which has that acute pace. काल रात्री काही नव्हतं ना, आज ताप आला. मग रेमेडीचा पेस अशी रेमेडी पाहिजे ज्या रेमेडीचा पेस तेवढा त्याला मॅच करतो. मग ती ॲकोनाइट असू शकते, बेलाडोना असू शकते, जेलसेमियम असू शकते, रस्टॉक्स असू शकते. हे सगळ्या ज्या रेमेडीज ज्यांचा पेस तिथं मॅच होतो. मग
अच्छा.
त्यामुळे विचार पहिला करत जायचं. लॉजिक is very important to use in such types of cases. You should not think of a remedy which is so deep acting. And she was not having a chronic malaria where you can think of an
नो सर, नो सर.
So acute
अच्छा.
remedy. So it might
बर
be
सर.
gelsemium. If she is thirstless, you think of gelsemium. Dull, dizzy, drowsy with thirstlessness, with headache, with weakness, gelsemium state, common nowadays. Or if she is thirsty, more thirsty, and dull, at the same time dull, the brine is another remedy which you can think, with a dryness of mucous membrane, dryness of lip. So you have to think according to it. So
येस
always
सर.
think with a logic. You find it out remedy which is acute enough to tackle the situation.
येस
So
सर.
find it
थँक्यू
out.
सर.
Okay.
येस सर, थँक्यू सर. तर पेशंट्सच्या बाबतीत होतं सर, पण आपल्या मुलाच्या बाबतीत फार एन्झायटी होऊन जाते सर.
घाबरायचं नाही, काय होत
थँक्यू सर. थँक्यू सर.
Okay. So we'll meet today evening at 9 o'clock sharp. Ask everyone to come and join together for this session, and we'll meet. Thank you, everyone. Thanks a lot.